For all we know, Jamaica is getting out of hand in regards to this violence issue. It is getting too bad. Like, it's not like we're fighting against another race, like other countries have, okay, they're fighting over a border, they're fighting over land. These are people in the island fighting against each other. Like, this makes no sense.
Hello everyone, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Shani. Welcome back to our channel,
All Things Hoskins.
It's a serious issue in Jamaica. Well, in Jamaica there's a serious issue. I'm not in Jamaica right now, I'm in the US. But this is unbelievable.
Yes, I mean, I never imagined that what's happening here in the US would actually shift over to Jamaica. But lo and behold, it has happened.
17 people were shot, y'all.
Yeah, 17 people were shot. According to this ABC News article, 7 of the victims were killed in one shooting, and an 8th one was killed in a related shooting shortly afterward, authorities said. Among the victims was a 7-year-old boy. 9 other people were injured in the first shooting Sunday at a birthday party in the parish of Clarendon, located west of the capital of Kingston. Among those injured was a baby. Deputy Commissioner Fitz Bailey has said the shootings were a result of a long-standing feud among former friends who had a falling out in the U.S. over illegally obtained gains, leading to each taking homicidal contracts to incite fear and terror.
That is unacceptable. Like, little Jamaica, 3 million people, approximately 3 million people in Jamaica. Should we be having mass murders or crime at that rate?
Well, it seems like American culture is influencing Jamaican culture.
With the mass murder.
With the mass murder, because, I mean, we have mass murders in America probably every week. You just rarely hear about them. You only hear about the major cases that occur. Yeah,
I heard that it's more often than we think.
Oh, yeah. It happens every week. But to hear this happening in such a small and peaceful relatively peaceful island, I mean, it just sent shockwaves through our system, and it's just I think that what's happening in Jamaica is, it's happening all over the world. It's globalization, just plain and simple. People who live in the U.S. or who have Jamaican connections are traveling back to Jamaica, and they are inciting violence because that's what happens in the U.S. Yeah, it's a monkey see, monkey do type of crime. Yeah,
but at the same time, Jamaicans are, a lot of us know, a lot of Jamaicans are involved in illicit activities here.
In the U.S.? Oh yeah, sure.
And that's why those people brought it back to Jamaica. And we are just hearing on the news just now that it was all orchestrated from prison. Like, some of it was orchestrated from inside our justice system. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. And for such a small island, they allow these things to continue for so long until it leads up to stuff like this, because those communities have been experiencing crime and violence. I've been hearing about these things happening in Clarendon for a while now. It's not yesterday nor today, it's been years, and nothing was done about it until something major happened. People sitting down in these conditions because what? They're scared for their lives, but at the same time, a lot of these people are it's their brothers, it's their sons, it's their man. They're not talking. According to them, it's for their protection. So what happens when it turns around on you? Y'all sit in these conditions and then allow stuff like this to continue. The innocent children are the ones who a lot of the times are affected.
Right. And I think that the family system is fractured because there are no male role models, and so you have, even here in the U.S., when you don't have a male role model, kids can be led down a path of or males particularly, can be led down a path of violence and destruction. That's why it's so important to have a stable family unit where you have one man and one woman in a home.
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens. A lot of these kids probably lost their dad. That happens a lot of times to violence, and like the cycle continues. That actually happens in these inner city communities. But at what point does these mothers try to take their child out of these situations? And I'm saying it, ladies, because a lot of times we are the problem. Yeah, you have opportunity to leave and go to elsewhere to raise your child. No, you don't want to leave from where you're growing up. This is where you know or whatever. A lot of you do not take up a lot of the opportunities to leave. You don't want to leave because you get comfortable in chaos, not thinking about your child. So a lot of things are easier said than done. But what about trying? A lot of these women don't even work. They don't want to work. They don't want to work. They sit there.
And sometimes I believe that when someone attempts to discipline or correct a child, these women won't permit it. You know, they'll be like, oh no, you can't do that to my child. And see, people, what you don't realize is if a child, if he is conditioned to be rebellious when he's 4, 5, and 6 years old, ladies, if you allow that, then when he's 12 and 13 years old, and there is no male role model around, and when you're trying to raise him and correct him, he's gonna hit you upside your head with a shoe.
He don't want to hear nothing from you.
No, he's not gonna. He's not gonna respect you at that age. So it's important, even if you're a single woman, you need to either introduce a positive male role model in his life, or you need to enact discipline on him, on your male son harshly, so that he'll know right from wrong. You understand? And so that he'll be a disciplined individual and a respectable person in society.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. A lot of these things, I think, I mean, violence will be everywhere, right? But for Jamaica to be at the top in the Caribbean and Latin America, that is ridiculous. 3 million people. A lot of these other countries have more people than us.
Right, talking about 20, 30 million people.
10 million. We have 3 million.
Yep.
Crime should not be at such an alarming rate. It's ridiculous. And then I think there's so much desensitizing happening. Like, okay, a lot of these crimes are happening in certain communities. As long as it doesn't spill over into our communities, we don't have to do anything about it. Because if it had happened into either the prime minister or the opposition leaders' community, it would be a different issue. We just heard about this man of allegedly unsound mind who threatened the prime minister. He was cloaked up. He had you could even see nothing but his eyes, and he was threatening him on the phone. Him and his wife.
The prime minister of Jamaica.
And they found him within 24 hours. So that means nothing is trying to be put in place to stop the violence. A lot of the times, if there's constant police presence, people will be more comfortable with going to the police. But guess what? The government don't want to do nothing about it. I'm not even choosing any sides or whatever. Both the opposition and the governing
JLP.
The JLP are. They spoke out about this matter, both of them, and with Mark Golding saying he wants to work with Prime Minister Holness to put in place any stipulations or whatever to prevent these things or to create changes in order for this situation to be catered to, right? However, I think more could be put in place before things like this happen. It's ridiculous. You don't look into these communities. These youths don't have no other alternative. It's just their reality, and they say, okay, this is the only way I can make some money. We have youths on the street washing windscreens on vehicles.
That's the baby. He wants to chime in. All right, you don't want to talk about that. All right.
Right. So we're not saying the government is causing these things, because you don't know what's going on in people's personal lives, but there's stuff that can be put in place to help to reduce. You see a particular area where so much crime is coming from that area. You don't have constant police presence. You don't have programs put in place to help the youths who are going to grow up and to become the future gang leaders. What do you expect is going to happen? That's what I'm talking about. So the prime minister can't say, you don't shoot you. But when he puts stuff in place so that a youth have a choice, right? When he has a choice now, then he can say, okay, we tried. Or let's see what else can be done. Crime should not be at such an alarming rate. And then it is desensitizing the fact that people feel like this is normal. It's not happening in my upscale community, so we should be okay. It's just a particular areas.
Well, what happens when the crime goes into your community?
It's going to spill over.
It has already spilled over. I remember a couple years ago, there was a place in the upscale area of New Kingston that got hit with gun violence. So we know that it can spill over into even upscale communities within Jamaica.
Anyways, y'all, it's serious. And also, for Jamaica to be such a Christian country, Christian my foot. Supposedly, because a lot of these churches,
church on every street corner in Jamaica, right, babe?
It just shows that people don't fear God. These men don't fear God. And some of them will even walk around with a Bible in their back pocket. And listen, there is salvation for everybody, right? If you want it, you can get it. But at the same time, a lot of these people do not fear God. Listen, their stuff are preached in our schools. Like all our schools. I'm sure there's not one single school in Jamaica where there is something that says, oh, God can't be praised in here. All our schools, we say our prayers, or our national anthem is a prayer. We sing praises to the Lord in devotions every morning. We pray. We say the Our Father prayer. That's where I learned to say that. Psalm 100, Psalm 23. That's where I learned to say those things in school.
Well,
so it's there. It's just that a lot of Jamaicans feel like, oh, I know of God, but I don't need to have a relationship with Him. So I don't think it's a Christian country. Because the churches should even be praying more about this and trying to pressure the government into putting stipulations in place to help inner city youths. Everybody should be playing a part. Everybody should be playing a part.
That is true.
Because it's a serious issue. And because the government isn't saying anything about it, everybody will like, okay, it's a hush-hush thing. No, it's a serious issue, and everybody, I think with this happening that more people would have been out on social media speaking out against it.
It's not my problem. You know, as long as it's not your problem, then I don't care about
we
that.
We barely hear anybody on social media coming out speaking about against this. This is serious. Izzy. Shh.
And I think in the long term it could affect Jamaica economically, because when you do put these travel advisories out there, then there are people who run with it, who lap it up like a dog, and they will think that the whole nation, the whole island of Jamaica is a crime zone, and they will be in fear of their lives. And that impacts the local vendors too, who depend on tourism for their livelihoods.
Yeah.
So it's a snowballing impact.
Yeah. Even though, as we have said in a previous video before, most of these crime doesn't take place in like the normal communities or even the touristy areas. A lot of these crimes do not take place in those areas, and that's why some people desensitize the issue, because oh, it's not happening in those areas, so we're good. But no.
Be warned.
Whatever affects our people, that should be the main issue. We shouldn't be caring more about people coming into our country than in our own country. You understand? And then the thing is, as we said, our baby's going. As we said, most of these issues do not take place in those communities. However,
Izzy's just agreeing with us. He's having the time of his life over there, trying to talk and interrupt our video.
I don't even know what I was trying to say. I'm not laughing with you right now.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So it's not happening into those areas, but at one point something may spill over, right? And actually, this year Jamaica has seen one of the most turnout of tourism. One of the most so tourism is not really being affected, even with this travel advisory.
Well, I mean, it's not. But it could happen.
It can happen.
Right.
So these people need to be careful. And y'all, if somebody's seen this video who knows anything about what's going on, please talk. And that is the next issue with Jamaicans too. Is the CM blind, hear and deaf. Meaning you see, you don't see. You hear, you don't hear. Well, guess what? Look at what's happening now. People are pushed into mourning. Like I heard the lady crying, this blood hurling cry over the loss of her.
Yes, pain over loss of her husband, her child, and other family members. I can't even remember.
At once, due to violence. It's not an accident, violence.
Yeah, it was just a sad scenario. I mean, no mother deserves to bury her child. It's just a heartbreaking issue all around.
I'm heartbroken.
Yeah,
that's our country that we love.
Yeah, and I love, as a outside observer, who's visited the island many times. I mean, it breaks my heart because I love Jamaica. I love Jamaican people. I love Jamaican culture. I mean, the vibes of Jamaica are comparable to no other place in the world.
It's just sad that behind all of that, you have this silent epidemic happening.
That's right, baby.
The silent epidemic happening behind all of that. And it's like, it's such a contrast, because how can we be the nicest and the worst people at the same time? That is ridiculous. And it just shows you how amazing Jamaicans are and how talented we are, that even our brains know how to switch. And then listen, some of these women even in the church know what's going on. Some of these men in the church knows what's going on and nobody's speaking. Y'all need to talk up. You don't need to remain silent. We have programs where you can call and report crimes. Yeah, and now the government say they're putting out $25 million towards people who will come out
y'all
and
better speak up. Y'all better speak up and get your money.
Because your family members are being targeted. Speak up.
Yeah, you could be next. So
speak up.
You better speak up not only for the money. I know I said the $25 million, but
yeah, and I mean, it's not just for
it's not. Yeah, I want to make that clear. It's not just for the money. But in general, but that should be an incentive, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
that should be an
incentive. You can at least move out the area and go somewhere else and live a normal life or something.
Right.
And we have victim protection in Jamaica. Believe it or not, there is something like that in place. It's crazy, but as I said, more needs to be put in place to at least give youths another option. And people just need to turn away from their wicked ways. Come to know the Lord and Savior. He'll help you. And it doesn't matter how far off you think you are, He will help you. We just have to pray for our country, Jamaica, for a great change to happen. It has to. Something has to be done. And before I leave, I was mentioning that. What was I saying again?
I don't know, babe.
Oh yeah, I just spoke on it.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah. So something needs to happen.
I agree. And I think we already addressed this, but you need to speak up just because it's not impacting you. Don't be selfish. Speak up, be vigilant, and speak truth to power always. That's my only advice, is to speak truth to power. But people have to just stop being selfish and thinking that just because it occurs somewhere else, that doesn't mean that, just because it occurs somewhere else, that doesn't mean that I should be worried about it. I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
And since the politicians in Jamaica, I don't want to get too much into politics, but it doesn't impact the violence doesn't impact them directly, and so I believe that that's why they're not worried about it, because they consider it to be someone else's problem and not their own. Plain and simple.
Yeah. So again, our heart goes out to the victims, the families of the victims who were fatally shot.
Right.
And we pray for those who are in recovery, that everybody will recover and not have any major issues. And those who are mourning, yeah, my heart goes out to you.
Right. And you're definitely in our prayers, and we love you guys.
Yeah, so thanks again for watching, y'all. That will be all that we have to say on this issue. Let the conversation continue in the comment section. What y'all have to say about this situation that took place, and do you think the government can do more to give youths another option, or what do you think about this current situation? Our first mass shooting, major mass shooting, like in a long time.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Let us know in the comment section what y'all think, and yeah, we'll be catching up with you guys at a later time. We got more good content coming your way.
All right, so thank you.
All right, love y'all.
Yeah, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the other video. Take care. Bye.
We love you.